Yo, what's up guys? In this video I'm going to be showing you the source to making Soulful Afrobeats in FL Studio 21. Not just FL Studio, you can take this idea to like Ableton or Cubase or Studio One or Logic. You hear me out. You have to kind of start using loops. If you don't have an ear for using loops, you need to like find a way to start using loops, or you need to learn how to just be soulful. I'm not so much on I'm heavy on music theory, but if you have that ear, if it takes a long time, but if you are patient enough to learn and practice and put in those hours, over time you get the hang of making beats with loops. Now I'm not saying you have to use loops 100%, but it's a very good place to like get inspired, to get to a point where you use loops so much that you don't even want to use loops anymore. You just find a way to play what you're feeling instead of looking for it in a loop. So obviously you guys know where the best place to start with is. You need to get what they call Splice. I can't tell you the amount of times I'll just be scrolling through Splice and I will hear a song that use Splice in their beats. Splice is the guy. Splice is really the guy. Splice is the source. Yes, you're gonna need to have a Splice subscription. If you don't have money for Splice, I'm sorry, I don't know what to say to you. Maybe save up and get some money for yearly subscription just to save a little bit. Or you can get Arcade. You can either get Arcade or Splice. There are ways around it. If you can't get Splice, you can use looperman.com. But I'll recommend Splice because of some reasons, right? Alright, if you guys don't know what Splice is, how do I even explain what Splice is? Splice is a place where you can get loops, sample packs, presets for some plugins. You can even buy some plugins from Splice. I think like Serum, you can buy Serum from Splice. So like I said, one of the best ways to start is start exploring with loops. It's gonna make you, get inspired fast, like real quick. So let me switch over to my screen and let me play you guys this beat that I was making. Sounds like this. While I was making these beats, I started with some chord progression. Actually, I was in between using Splice and playing some chords and going here and there. So the first thing you want to do if you're going to use Splice is you have to search for soul. Just search for anything soul on Splice. Just type in soul and set the key you want. That's why I'm recommending Splice. I know Looperman has a feature that you can add like the key that you want, but I think Splice is easier too because you can just search for any key and make it transpose to the key you want, basically. So just type in anything soul. Let's say E piano soul, or just type soul. Let's just type soul, right? I already have my key set to my FL Studio. I'll just put this to E minor. If you're on the minor scale, choose minor keys. Like you mostly find the samples or the sounds in minors, because soulful is kind of like soulful. Minor is usually a soulful sound. I know you can use relative minor or the relative major scale for E minor, but try and find the relative minor for the scale you're in. If you're using a major scale, try and use the relative minor to find the soul sample. So just search for like soul and see what it sounds like. So there's something called Splice Bridge that can make you. This is why I'm also recommending Splice too. Splice has something called Splice Bridge. So when you play a sound in Splice, it automatically fits the tempo in your DAW. You can go crazy with that idea. You don't need to do too much. Just be scrolling and play back something. You can just have like a drum loop. Let me go to my drum loop part. Let me loop my drum loop, and I'm just gonna be looking for a Splice loop. Let me mute my melodies. Just play this. Let me do melodies. See this? The melody is played from Splice. I can play something else. Like this is pure fire. I can take that and use that in my beats and look for more ideas. The more you do this, the more you're gonna get inspired to make something fire. Like, trust me, guys. This is not the first time. I stopped using Splice for a while because I was not using it all the time. But coming back to it again, I was cooking up with my friend and just looking at how he was using Splice, and I was like, bro, what are you doing? And I was showing him how to actually use Splice to your advantage, and it kind of made me get inspired again to get another Splice subscription. You can get inspired. They don't always have to use samples you're hearing from Splice, but you can get inspired and use your own thing. I know you guys don't like Ableton, but calm down. Let me show you this beat. I'm gonna open up Ableton right now. So, like I said, Splice is the source, man. Anybody that says don't use loops or using loops is cheating, that's their problem. Because if you're making your beats and you're making fire beats with Splice loops and you're chopping it up and over time you're gonna get used to flipping samples. You're gonna get used to like playing chords. It's gonna force you to want to learn how to play chords, because you pick a loop now that it sounds some kind of way, but you want it to sound another kind of way, and you can't. So you just find your way. You find your way using Splice, or you find your way trying to make beats by yourself or trying to play the piano, basically. So you play these beats that I made. So some samples are missing, but the ones that are not, I have this. Let me play this for you. So just by chopping up some samples here and there, you just get inspired. Like this, I have the melody fire already. All I have to do is just add some drums. So don't be scared of using loops. If you know how to play the guitar, you'll probably be very, very, very efficient at playing your own guitar. Over time, just use more loops. Don't just be stuck on using loops. Use loops, but at the same time try and play some stuff. The way I do my stuff is I might start with like a chord progression, or I might start with a drum bounce. If I'm feeling stuck, I'll use a loop to get inspired. Then I'll like maybe change something else, take the loop. Like, I don't know, this is one cheat code for you guys that are always stuck and you can't think of anything to make a beat. This is a very big cheat code, guys. Splice is the source. Yeah, this is not a sponsored video. Splice didn't pay me any money. I'm not making any money from telling you guys to use Splice, but I'm just trying to inspire somebody that is feeling stuck with their music. I feel stuck a lot. And I'd be like, I'm one of those people that will be like, I don't want to use loop. I'm not going to use a loop. But then again, so it's like, I'm waiting not to use a loop, and I'm waiting for ideas to come. And days are going. I'm not cooking up. I'm not making any beats. I'm not making anything. I'm just being stagnant. But when I use a loop, I might get inspired from one beat onto the next one. So don't be scared of using loops, guys. Don't be scared of using loops, guys. I just wanted to make this short video for you guys. See you guys on the next one.